Conservative new media viewers and NBA fans around the world, what is up? It is me, PFE, Paul F. Villarreal, the NBA expert. We are here to talk about the beatdown that the Miami Heat and LeBron James put on the visiting Indiana Pacers tonight in the decisive Game 6 of the 2014 Eastern Conference Finals. Miami won by the score of 117-92, a 25-point rout for the defending champions that looked a lot like Game 7 of the 2013 Eastern Conference Finals, which the Miami Heat won by a score of 99-76. That was a 23-point victory. This was a Miami game almost from the word go. In the third quarter, Miami got the lead up to as much as 37 points. Indiana started well in this game. They were up on Miami by 7 points with about 8 minutes left in the first quarter, and then Miami just slowly began to push and enforce their will on the Pacers. LeBron James led the Heat with 25 points, 4 boards, and 6 assists. LeBron was the most efficient player in tonight's game. I used something called NBA efficiency, which is a rough version of PER, or a rough version of it. It's not quite the same thing, but it gives you an idea of how well the player did. LeBron's efficiency in this game, NBA efficiency, was 31, and he only played 32 minutes, so that's almost one efficiency unit per minute, which is incredible. Also playing well in this game was Chris Bosh, who also had 25 points and 8 boards. Bosh's efficiency number was 30. Another person that should be mentioned is Chris Birdman Anderson. The Bird had missed the last 2 games for Miami with a thigh contusion, and he had 9 points and 10 boards in only 13 minutes of action. He was critical in this. People do not understand how well this guy plays and how important he is to the Miami Heat and their quest for the three-peat. Look, as I said, this was a beatdown. LeBron played poorly in game number 5, and he got into foul trouble, and he really couldn't play his game. You figured he was going to come out and want to set the tone and make amends, and that's exactly what happened. Miami beat Indiana at their own game. They beat them at bully ball. They beat them on the rebounding. They beat them with second chance points. They out-hustled them. They just outworked them, and they out-defended them as well. And what happened as the game went on was Indiana just crumbled. They tried to come back in the second half. Paul George put up 29 points. A lot of them came when the game was over, in my opinion. But they just overwhelmed Indiana. Chris Bosh said before the game that the team was going to play their best game of the year. And I don't know if this was the absolute best, but it was pretty darn close if it wasn't the absolute best. This was just a virtuoso performance. And I want to talk about what this means for the team, what it means for LeBron, what it means for LeBron's legacy. One thing that it means is I don't know if Indiana is going to be a serious contender again against the Heat. I got a feeling that Larry Bird might break up that team somewhat because they're not good enough to beat Miami. They're not good enough on the court, and they're not good enough in the mind to defeat Miami. Indiana talked way too much in the last year. They talked about respect. They talked about how if they had home court advantage last year, they would have won Game 7. They talked, and they got crushed. So no more talking, and I think there's a very good chance you're going to see significant changes on that team. That might include George Hill not being around anymore, and it also might include Roy Hibbert not being around anymore. And it could even potentially include Frank Vogel not being around anymore, the head coach. I did like that after this game, a number of the Pacers players came up to the Miami players and shook hands and stuff. That's good. That's classy. I was happy to see that. Look, there's a time for talking and there's a time to be over it. Miami's a better team. Just accept it and move on and try to get better in the offseason and do better next year. So, for the Heat, they accomplish NBA history here. They become only the third franchise in NBA history to go to their fourth straight final, and they become the first to do so in approximately 25 years. The last team that went to 4 straight finals were the Larry Bird Celtics of the late 1980s. It's been quite a while ago, and it shows you how rare it is. 4 teams have done it. Only 3 franchises have done it. The Celtics did it twice. They did it in the Bill Russell era where they went to 8 straight finals or something. The Lakers did it. The Magic Johnson, Kareem Lakers did it of the mid-1980s. And then Larry Bird and his Celtics did it. So the Celtics have done it twice. And now Miami and LeBron join that parade. So this significantly elevates LeBron's legacy. He has done something now, which Michael Jordan never did. Of course, Michael Jordan retired after the first three-peat and the passing of his father, and then he went and played baseball before he came back and did the second three-peat. Jordan never went to 4 straight finals. Kobe and Shaq, of course, they did the three-peat in the early 2000s, but they were not able to get to the 4th straight final in 2003, I believe it was. So LeBron has accomplished something that these 2 players that he's often compared with never did. That is a very significant feat, and that is going to be something that LeBron and his fans will always use now in any argument that comes up about who's the greatest. What is typical is that people discuss the 4 greatest players since Michael Jordan retired, and that usually comes down to Shaq, Tim Duncan, Kobe Bryant, and LeBron James. Again, this is now an advantage that LeBron has over those other players. Of course, Kobe won 5 rings, Shaq has won 4 rings, Tim Duncan has won 4 rings, and LeBron has only won 2 rings so far. But this is another brick in LeBron's legacy that is being built, and this is definitely going to help him. Now, and as far as the finals go, we have to see who emerges from the West, of course. The Spurs, as I make this video, the Spurs are leading the Oklahoma City Thunder 3-2, and the Spurs blew out Oklahoma City in game number 5, and that came even with Serge Ibaka back on the court. When Ibaka came back from injury in game 3, he significantly altered the course of the series. But San Antonio made adjustments to that, and now they look like the better team. My guess is that San Antonio is going to make the final, and that we're going to see a rematch of last year's final, but we still can't count out Oklahoma City. I will tell you this, though. I don't know, and I really don't think Oklahoma City can beat the Miami Heat. The style matchup isn't so good for Oklahoma City, and it has to do with they don't have interior scoring. They don't have big men that score a lot. If you want to beat the Heat, you need to pound them on the inside, and the Thunder just doesn't have that. Kendrick Perkins, he doesn't score very much. Nick Collison, he doesn't score very much. Serge Ibaka can score, but he doesn't score on post-up moves. He scores more on jumpers. OKC is very athletic. I'm not saying they couldn't beat the Heat, but if you watch the second game between those 2 teams in the regular season, Miami just wiped out Oklahoma City in Oklahoma City. Now, I know the Thunder beat Miami pretty good in the first game of the regular series. That was in Miami. But I think in game number 2, you saw much more of the real Miami Heat. They were much more focused on defense, and LeBron James just attacked Kevin Durant. And the problem for Kevin Durant in that matchup is he can't guard LeBron James. And the reason why I say that is Durant is too light. His weight is too little so that LeBron can post up Kevin Durant anytime he wants. And the Thunder don't have somebody who can guard LeBron. Maybe Ibaka, I guess, but LeBron's quicker than him. So that's a real problem if that matchup occurred. I think that Kawhi Leonard of the Spurs could do a much better job guarding LeBron than Kevin Durant could. Plus, Kawhi can focus more on defense, whereas Durant also has to focus on his offense in any game that he's involved in. So I think we're going to see the Spurs, and I think that's the better matchup. We know the Spurs can beat the Heat. They should have won last year in game number 6 in the finals. So I'm looking forward to the rematch. And to be honest with you, the Spurs, they might be favored in that. I don't know if they will be, but they could be. It's going to be close if that's the matchup that we get. If it's Miami versus OKC, Miami will be favored, and they should be favored, even though OKC will have home court if that matchup occurs. So I think we are going to get to see a contest between two of the greatest players, perhaps the two greatest players in the NBA since the end of the Michael Jordan era. And if I had to pick, I would pick those two as the two best since Michael Jordan retired. No offense to Shaq or Kobe. Just when you look at everything, that's my own assessment of it. And LeBron's far from done, so who knows where he's going to end up. We congratulate the Miami Heat and their fans. You came out and you made a statement tonight. You made a statement. You got it done. It never went to a Game 7 in Indiana. That just didn't happen. Indiana, good series, good season. You made some progress, but you need more work. And you need to talk less and accomplish more before you talk. I was incredibly impressed with the Heat bench in this series. And even guys like Rashard Lewis, who became the starter because he was doing a good job defensively on David West. I mean, Rashard Lewis in the last 2 games, how many threes has he hit? He hit 3 tonight. I hit like 4 or 5 in the last game or something like that. This bench all year looked like it was too old and like it just wasn't able to do it anymore. But when they need to do it, they can do it. Whether it's Ray Allen, whether it's Rashard Lewis, whether it's Shane Battier, whether it's Birdman Anderson, whether it's Udonis Haslem. I thought that this was the worst version of the Heat because of the thinness of their bench since year 1 of the Big Three. Now I'm not sure about that because this team is extremely confident. They're extremely resilient, and only somebody or a team with the savvy and championship experience like the Spurs has the ability to mentally match this team. Oklahoma City can't do it just because they haven't won anything and they're younger. So, congratulations again to the Miami Heat and congratulations to LeBron James. This is a significant accomplishment to his legacy. And I know that LeBron and his fans are hoping that there's one more big accomplishment to occur in this year. As they move on to the finals, LeBron seeks his 3rd straight title and his 3rd straight finals MVP trophy. So we will see what is up. In the video description below the video player, you will find information so you can go and check out video highlights of this game if you were not able to watch it when it took place. Give us your comments below. Thumbs up, thumbs down on this video. Additionally, I will include information in the video description below the video player so you can come and join the Conservative New Media Facebook group. That group has over 3,000 members and counting. We'd love to have you come and join it as well. I am Paul F. Villarreal again, PFV, the NBA expert. Thanks a lot for watching Conservative New Media. We will talk to you again soon. Hope you guys are enjoying the NBA playoffs as much as we are. This is my favorite time of year in terms of sports. Nothing beats this. It doesn't get any better than this. And I can't wait to see the next 1 to 2 games of the Western Conference Finals. Want to see how Oklahoma City is going to respond to what the Spurs did to them in game number 5. But for tonight, LeBron and the Heat. King James moving on to his 4th straight finals.